Peanuts, caramel popcorn.
Doesn't look like popcorn business is very good in the upper deck behind the plate. Mitch Williams, the wild thing. Another 3-2 to Duncan. Well hit to left. Way back toward the 375 mark. Henderson. It's off the top of the wall. Duncan on his way to third as White retrieves, and it's a triple for Mariano Duncan.
Duncan led the major leagues in triples back in 1990 when he played for the Cincinnati Reds. This ball just misses from going out of here. Two things, and it also just misses being caught by Ricky Henderson. A couple of inches either way. Henderson with the leap and the ball bouncing off the top of the fence, and Duncan has a triple. Now the infield will have to play in for John Kruk, a hitter's delight right here.
Kruk already with 2 runs batted in tonight. Of course, Duncan set a record with 2 triples in Game 3 of the LCS against Atlanta here in Game 1 of the World Series. He has his second hit of the night, a triple. And the infield is in for Toronto in a 3-3 game in the 5th. Kruk has 2 singles. He's driven in 1 run with each of those 2 hits. In the dirt. Here comes the runner to the plate, and he is safe. Duncan took a chance as Borders blocked the ball, and it didn't get all that far from home plate. It was up the third base line, but Duncan didn't hesitate, and he comes on to score the go-ahead run. The Phillies lead for the 3rd time tonight. It's 4-3.
The reason he took the chance is because Guzman was winding up, no chance of throwing behind him, and he was in position to make the play and makes it rather easily. See right there, landing on his right foot, and by the time the ball bounces away from Borders, Borders tried to backhand the play. A little shovel pass to Guzman, but the wild pitch cost the Blue Jays a run. Remember, Guzman had 26 wild pitches on the season, and Duncan scores easily, and the Phillies retake the lead.
4-3 Philadelphia. 1 out of the bases now empty, and 1-2 the count on Kruk. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 26 wild pitches during the regular season was an American League record set by Juan Guzman. He had 26 of the 83 wild pitches thrown by Toronto hurlers, the total that led the league. It's a tough staff to catch for Pat Borders. Off-speed pitch, the changeup, and it missed, and the count is full.
Put Pat Borders on another team, and he wouldn't have that problem, but he's got Guzman, who is wild. He walked 110 with 26 wild pitches. Dave Stewart with the splitter in the dirt. Jack Morris relied on the splitter in the dirt.
And it was Morris who held the old American League record for wild pitches. And he uncorked 24 for Detroit back in 1987. 4-3 Philadelphia in the 5th inning. Another 3-2 to Kruk. His ball 4. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight. The 3rd walk issued by Guzman. The first one has thrown since the 1st inning. And the batter is Dave Hollins, who walked in the 1st and flied to center in the 3rd. Collins is from Orchard Park, New York, which is in suburban Buffalo, and that's not very far from Sky Dome, only about an hour-and-a-half drive. And the pitch count, 105 for Guzman. And right on cue, the pitching coach, Galen Cisco. There is no action at the moment, but that will change momentarily. One of the features of Sky Dome is that you cannot see into the bullpens from most locations at Sky Dome. And Al Leiter is warming up. You see the sign in the background. Class of 1958 BHS. That was posted by the man in the background, John Sullivan, the Blue Jays bullpen coach. He is missing his 35th high school reunion tonight. That's Bernardsville High School in New Jersey. So Sully wanted to send along his best wishes to his classmates celebrating their 35th reunion tonight. His graduating class, about 160 students. John's wife made the sign. 1-1 the count on Hollins.
I think I'd rather be a part of a World Series team than go to a reunion. Nothing against reunions.
And Sully feels that way too. And we should note that this is also a very special day. You mentioned you were 3 years old when the Blue Jays in Philadelphia were then the Philadelphia Blue Jays, not the Phillies. And today you are celebrating a birthday. And the folks could probably do the math.
I'm 52 this evening.
5-2. Yes, indeed.
Not this morning, this evening. I was going to wait as long as I could.
Well, from all of us at CBS, and I'm sure many fans around the country, a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, rattled the mask of Borders. You were talking with Pat yesterday, and certainly you can sympathize with his experience as a catcher. And I was interested to hear his response when you asked him, how many days this year have you gone behind the plate feeling well? And he said, oh, about 10.
10 out of 162. And that's one of the reasons right there. He gets one uncorked right off the mask, and now a ball in the dirt. Guzman has thrown one wild pitch in this inning that led to a run. And here's another one. Another idea of why this Toronto pitching staff is so hard to catch. A lot of bumps and bruises from Pat Borders, catching Dave Stewart in the pennant clincher against the White Sox last week.
Still 2-2 on Hollins. One out. Kruk at first, one run in here in the fifth. The Phillies lead for the third time tonight. It's 4-3.
We talked about that unusual move of Juan Guzman. Most power pitchers have a high leg kick, but with Guzman, he kicks the leg high and then he slides it out. That is a very unusual leg kick for Juan Guzman.
And Hollins had to kick his legs out of the way to avoid ball 3.
Most right-handed pitchers are the power pitchers either kick the leg up real high or have the slide step. Well, Guzman has both.
You think Kruk will be running?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Phillies with the lead.
He does run on the 3-2 pitch, bounced down to first. Olerud looked at second, but he knew that Kruk was off with the pitch. So Jim Fregosi's decision to move the runner kept him out of the double play.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you do it. You send the runner to stay out of the double play. Ideally, as an offensive player, you'd obviously like to have first and third in that situation. Like to have a home run, but things like that, they don't happen that often. But the play is designed to first and third them and to stay out of the double play. And now Dalton will be walked intentionally.
To put runners at first and second. And they'll take their chances with Jim Eisenreich.
it's tough to walk batters intentionally with a guy like Guzman pitching because he walks a lot of guys anyway. Sometimes an intentional walk can lead to a big inning, even though Eisenreich is 0 for 2 on the night.
Gaston doesn't gain anything in terms of righty versus lefty. Eisenreich is a left-handed hitter, as is Dalton. Guzman has thrown 31 pitches this inning and 111 for the ball game. Phillies lead 4-3. They've reclaimed the lead with a run here in the 5th, and they have Jim Eisenreich at the plate, the 6th batter of the inning. He is struck out and grounded out. First pitch to Eisenreich at 95 miles per hour. He fouled it straight back and out of play. And a breaking ball low. 1-1. Pulled foul past Mel Roberts in the first base coach's box. 1-2 on Eisenreich. The Phillies brain trust: Dennis Menke, John Vukovich, Jim Fregosi, Johnny Padres. The 1-2 in the dirt. Another good block by Borders. Cito Gaston said before the game tonight Borders probably should have caught fewer games than he did this year, but Cito notes Borders is one of those guys who can't stand to come out of the lineup. Sometimes you just have to tell the player, too bad, you're not playing tonight. Half swing, and it's bounced down to Sprague at third. He goes to first to end the inning. Halfway through the ball game, Philadelphia 4, Toronto 3.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV, sponsored by Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays for the past 17 years.
To some, it was a contradiction. The notion of converting the smallest amount of liquid resources into pure power. Some dabbled with it, approached it, surrounded it. But Honda made it happen. VTEC, high efficiency power. BPM from Honda.
No heat pasteurizing and no added preservatives. It's Canada's own cold-filtered Labatt Genuine Draft.
Many you'll never meet.
Bill Hughes, mechanic.
Some you may remember for making a difference on your last trip.
Lorna Fraser, flight attendant.
But the one thing the over 17,000 men and women of Canadian Airlines have in common
Kelly Shaw, maintenance.
is the shared belief that you have the right to a choice of airline.
Joe Harmon, welder.
And they're doing everything they can to make sure you do.
Trimark Mutual Funds. We manage to outperform.
Well, it's good to see that the folks here at Sky Dome appreciate the magnitude of this historic occasion. Tim McCarver's 52nd birthday.
Well,
and
that's mighty nice.
look at what our crew has whipped up for you. Our producer, Bob Dekas, and our director, Bob Fishman, spent all day in the kitchen today.
No, that's very nice. After 4 years, it's a piece of cake.
Hope you're hungry.
I am.
Look at the size of this.
It's like you need a tarp to cover it.
Isn't
That is
beautiful?
very nice. Very, very
I
nice.
look forward to that after the game. It's good to see at age 52 you can still blush.
Oh, that is very nice. That's a big league cake right there. Wow.
Foul ball off the bat of the leadoff man here in the bottom of the fifth, Pat Borders, who lined to the first baseman Kruk his first time up. So it's comeback time again for Toronto. They find themselves trailing for the third time tonight. Borders, then the top of the order, Ricky Henderson and Devon White against Curt Schilling. Down the right field line and slicing toward the corner. It is a foul ball, and not by much.
Right field umpire Dana DeMuth is right on top of the play, and this is one of the reasons that in postseason play you have a right field umpire. But that ball slicing toward the line really doesn't have a lot of room. It actually hit the wall before it landed foul, but had that wall not been there, it would have been about 4 feet foul.
That's part of our new contest too. Hit a CBS Sports banner, win a cake. Sorry. Didn't last long. Pat Borders honing in, trying to take it away from you very quickly. I don't think he actually hit the sign. You get to keep the cake momentarily at least. Strike three. Borders called out on strikes. Leading off the fifth. That's just the second strikeout of the night for Schilling,
who struck out 19 in the National League Championship Series in 16 innings. This ball right on the front corner of the plate. Doesn't matter where the catcher catches the ball. He could catch it off the plate. But that ball, as you could see, caught the front corner. Only the second strikeout, but Schilling, overpowering against the Braves, has not been so tonight.
His first pitch, a strike to Ricky Henderson. Ricky walked in the first inning, fly to right in the second. He took a big cut and then immediately looked at his hand. Mentioned that both hands are sore for Ricky, and the count is 0-2. Pat Gillick, the Blue Jay general manager, has acknowledged that if he had it to do over again, he probably wouldn't make the Henderson trade. Duncan throws him out. Ricky went sliding into first, head first, but it was too late. 2 down in the fifth. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, join Greg and Terry for all the latest NFL news, including a special look at 49ers quarterback Steve Young. Is he ready for the NFC Championship rematch versus Dallas? Jimmy Johnson talks about the Cowboys' chances. Plus an update on Bernie Kosar and Warren Moon as they ride the bench. Our studio guest tomorrow is Eric Dickerson. It's all tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on the NFL Today. It's all you need to know. Devon White, the hitter, and he looked at a breaking ball in the dirt for ball one. It was White who reached on the air, charged to Thompson when Thompson and Dykstra combined to misplay Devon's fly ball in the third. He scored an unearned run, charged to Schilling in the third. Out of play to the left, 1-1 on White. He mentioned during Devon's first at bat that he was born in Kingston, Jamaica, came to New York City when he was 9, didn't play baseball until he was 9 years old. He was a soccer and a cricket player. And a little bit later on, you will explain to us all the rules of cricket.
Without being a good low ball hitter, you have to be in cricket. Devon's father, as a matter of fact, was one of the famous cricketers from Jamaica.
in Jamaica. Into the second deck and right for Devon White. A mammoth home run to tie the game at 4.
Looked like a splitter or a slider, but not for long.
Now a pop-up by Alomar. Hollins in foul ground, puts it away to end the inning. But the Blue Jays have tied it again on the home run by White, 4-4 after 5.
This is CTV, Canada's official network of the Olympic Winter Games.
You didn't feel compromised by having a family. And we promise you won't feel compromised by our family sedan. Leap year from Honda.
Prime Minister Kim Campbell's job plan.
Most new jobs come from the small business sector, and our plan will encourage more. We will help the sector grow by making financing more accessible, providing better tax incentives for venture capital investment, reducing small business administrative costs by cutting red tape. And we'll help our young people start new businesses by providing support, training, and access to startup loans.
Discover the SO Tiger. Spirit of service.
Cheese, please.
Isn't it nice to have a taste for life?
Canadian cheese, please. Labatt presents the World Series on CTV, sponsored by Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays for the past 17 years.
Came off the mound after having surrendered the game-tying home run to Devon White. So it's 4-4 as we go to the 6th. The line scores again identical. And after 5 innings by Juan Guzman, Cito Gaston has handed the ball over to Al Leiter.
Al Leiter traded for Jesse Barfield back in 1989. And after years, about 3 as a matter of fact, of struggling, all sorts of operations on the elbow and shoulder, he is back in fine form. He worked 34 games this year. He started 12, and one of the big questions was whether Al Leiter would start Game 4 of the series. Maybe Cito Gaston will work him a couple of innings here as a tune-up.
Leiter's first World Series pitch, a strike to Ricky Jordan, who is happy that Guzman has departed. He struck out twice against Juan. That's fouled out of play and right. Into the crowd of 52,011. Leiter 6'3", 215 pounds. He'll turn 28 years old 1 week from tonight. And Jordan fouled it away with a half swing. Jordan, Thompson, and Stocker The bottom third of the order for Philadelphia in the 6th. Up and in, 1-2. In on the hands, a little looper that falls in right. Ricky Jordan with a base hit. Yesterday we spoke with Al Leiter about the meaning of this World Series appearance.
This is a dream. I mean, you know, this World Series, I mean, I look at the perspective of things. I mean, you know, you hear about guys talking about blowing games or maybe giving up a key hit and whatnot. This is all kind of a fantasy for me. I mean, of course, go out there, be aggressive, throw strikes, and do the things that a pitcher has to do to get hitters out. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of not the real world.
It's a real-life fantasy camp for Al Leiter.
When he talked about understanding the meaning of the real world and life within it. Comes from a working class family in New Jersey. He's the youngest of 7 children. His twin sister Alexia, the only girl in the family. She was 17 minutes older than Al. 1-1 the count as he works to Milt Thompson, who hit only 175 this year against left-handed pitching during the regular season. Bounced back to the mound and struck out against Guzman. 4-4 the score in the 6th inning. Chopped to short. Fernandez. Double play, and that's about as easy as it will get for Tony Fernandez.
One hopper to Fernandez. You may be wondering, well, why didn't Jim Fregosi use Pete Incaviglia? He's got the right-handed hitter on the bench. In a 4-4 game, it's really too early to use a pinch hitter, because if Incaviglia doesn't produce, well, then you weaken your defense. Thompson, a much better defensive left fielder than Pete. If you're trailing by 2 runs, I think you might have seen Incaviglia, but it being a tie game, it's still more or less a defensive battle.
Now Kevin Stalker surprised just about everybody in the ballpark during his last at bat when he had a fly ball to the base of the wall and straightaway center field. On White, a long way to shag it. You can't see into the bullpens here, and consequently when those in the bullpen are at field level, they can't see the action through the fence, so they have raised seating in each bullpen. Check swing and a ball low and in. 2-1 on Stalker. Two outs, bases empty, 6th inning. 4-4 the score.
Right on the corner to Stalker.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Just outside. There had been speculation that Al Leiter would be the Game 4 starting pitcher for the Blue Jays. Neil Gaston has only named his first 3 starters. Guzman tonight, Stewart tomorrow, Pat Henkin in Game 4. Pulled sharply foul. Leiter and Stottlemyre have been considered the candidates to start Game 4 if Gaston decides to go with 4 starters. But Jim Fregosi thinks Cito might only use 3.
We asked Al Leiter yesterday whether he would rather appear in 4 games and contribute, or start 1 game and contribute. He said, I'd rather appear in 4. Payoff
pitch is ball 4 up and away. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Tim and I will select the Chevrolet Player of the Game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's name to the Special Olympics. Top of the order around for the 4th time for Philadelphia, Lenny Dykstra. 0 for 2. He walked, leading off the ball game, stole second and scored the first run of the game. Last time up, he was robbed of a hit on a great diving catch of a pop-up along the right field line by Roberto Alomar. For strike 2. 0-2 on Dykstra.
Now it's more of a running count than it was earlier because the count 0-2 as Stocker is thrown out. Then Dykstra leads off the 7th inning. Stocker with 5 stolen bases during the season. He was not caught.
And the Phillies have stolen 2 bases tonight. Up the middle, base hit. Stocker will stop at second. And perhaps he was fortunate that White didn't throw in behind him. He made a very wide turn around second base. Dykstra has his first hit of the night.
Here's a situation, depending on the out count, you may try to go to third base. With 1 out, you definitely try it. With none or 2 outs, you don't try it. It's really not worth the risk. With 2 outs, for the most part, you're going to score from second on a ball just as well as you're going to score from third. Of course, a wild pitch. If you got Guzman pitching, you take a chance to go to third because of all the wild pitches he throws. But normally, you just can't take the chance with 2 outs.
Runners at first and second with 2 down. 4-4 the score in the 6th inning. Here's Duncan. Mariano has singled and tripled tonight. Stolen a base and scored 2 runs. Leiter has given up 2 hits and a walk in the inning. Duncan up the middle. Alomar, great play to keep it in the infield. He lost the handle, but Stocker was diving back into third head first. If Stocker had remained on his feet, he would have been able to score once the ball slipped out of the hand of Alomar.
Well, Larry Boa, middle infielder, and now the third base coach for the Phillies, sees Alomar make the play. Another remarkable range play by Alomar. Stocker is making the turn. He doesn't know whether the ball's gotten through or not, but look at Boa, up with the hands, go back because he thought Alomar was going to come up and throw behind Stocker at third base. Boa, as a matter of fact, managed Alomar in AAA with the Padres, their AAA farm, and the Padres. Great play by Alomar.
Bases loaded with 2 outs. And John Kruk, the batter. He's working on a perfect night. He has singled twice and walked. He has driven in 2 and scored 1. He looked at ball 1, and Borders goes to the mound to speak with Leiter. The runner at third is Kevin Stocker. He reached with 2 outs on a walk. Then Lenny Dykstra singled to center. He's now at second after the infield hit by Mariano Duncan. Phillies hope to give Kurt Schilling the lead for the 4th time tonight. Inside corner, 1-1 on Kruk. Kruk didn't fare very well during the regular season with the bases full. He had only 1 hit. Breaking ball went around the inside part of the plate. 2-1. fastball. Will try to emerge from this inning unscathed, despite having surrendered 3 hits and a walk. The 2-2. Blown away. And now there will be all kinds of movement with a 3-2 pitch and the bases loaded, 2 outs. All the runners will be off with the Leiter delivery.
Leiter's winding up, and he should be stretching. On a short double long single, that allows the runner at first to score.
The runners go, and Crook strikes out. 3 hits and a walk, but no runs for Philadelphia in the 6th. We'll return to Sky Dome after this message and a word from your local station.
A CTV News Update, brought to you by Canadian Tire. Here is Sandy Ronaldo.
Good evening. Some stories we're following. The United Nations approves the naval blockade of Haiti. The ring of containment tightens as Canada prepares to join American warships in the waters around Haiti. And Lucien Bouchard unveils his party's foreign policy platform. Back in a moment.
It happens about 52 times a year, generally after the second cup of coffee. It's called Saturday. And for a lot of people, it means a trip to Canadian Tire, where Canadians can buy products they're proud to own at the price they want to pay. Top quality, guaranteed low prices. Maybe that's why people have been coming back for over 70 years of Saturdays. And all the other fine days, too. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
Also ahead tonight, the warm-ups are over. Let the games begin. Details on the CTV News.
Dreams. Not just for yourself, but more for your kids.
Yeah, hoping the future will be okay and they'll be happy.
Sharing. You know, not seeing everything the same old way.
Yeah, like having an appreciation of how other people live.
Saying that's one thing. Meaning it? Well, that's another.
Bank of Montreal. We're paying attention.
Great. But as customers, we'll be watching.
This is your standard living room. Seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. Our living room also has seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. The only difference is, ours comes with a 4.3-liter V6 engine, standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a driver's side facial airbag, and the most towing capacity in its class. Introducing the 1994 GMC Safari.
Game 2 of the 1993 World Series is tomorrow night here at Sky Dome. We're on the air at 8 Eastern Time with the first pitch scheduled for 8:29. Airtime on CBS for all the World Series games is 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And the pitchers tomorrow night, Terry Mulholland for Philadelphia and Dave Stewart for Toronto. Game 1 tied at 4. Blue Jays with a chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. And they have the middle third of their order coming up against Kurt Schilling. Joe Carter looked at ball 1. He singled and scored in the second and had a sacrifice fly in the third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Schilling has needed only 74 pitches to reach this point. Juan Guzman, the Toronto starter, in his 5 innings threw 120 pitches. Guzman surrendered 4 runs on 5 hits. He walked 4. One of those was an intentional walk. He struck out 6 through a wild pitch. All the runs against Guzman were earned runs. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carter. We talked about all of the new faces on this Blue Jay roster. Joe Carter almost needed to be replaced by the Blue Jays. He came very close to going to the Kansas City Royals as a free agent in the offseason. Which they turned down more money to stay in Toronto. That was especially a difficult decision because the Carters make their home in the Kansas City area and will always live there.
that it had gotten to the point where he had written letters to the people in Toronto telling them that he was not returning.
And his agent had collaborated to write an open letter to the fans that they hoped would be published in the Toronto paper.
Sean, you asked him yesterday how close was it, and he held his thumb and forefinger together, about 1/10 of an inch apart. He said that close.
Chop back to the mound. Schilling makes the play. That'll bring up John Olerud, the league's leading hitter this year. We talked with him about his hitting philosophy.
I think it just depends on how I feel, how up at the plate. When I'm feeling good, I'm able to react to pitches a lot better, and I'm picking up the ball sooner. And I don't know, I try to be as selective as I can because I can't hit those tough pitches out of the strike zone.
He hits that one down the right field line and deep, hooking toward the pole. Home run! John Olerud gives the Blue Jays their first lead of the night. It's 5-4 Toronto.
That soundbite, John Olerud saying, I can't hit those tough pitches out of the strike zone. But he can certainly hit those in the strike zone. Wow.
Second home run of the night for the Blue Jays. Devon White hit the first last inning that tied the game at 4-4. It's the second postseason homer of Olerud's career. He hit 24 during the regular season. And Toronto leads for the first time tonight 5-4 in the 6th inning. Schilling has now given up 6 hits. Paul Molitor thrown out by Duncan. Molitor now 1 for 3. He had an infield single to pick up an RBI back in the 2nd.
You know, when you think about it, Olerud swings like Devon White runs. Devon White with that loping, smooth, and easy stride of his, and Olerud with that smooth, easy swing of his.
John said his goal for this year was to hit 300 for the first time. Certainly exceeded that expectation and then some. Tony Fernandez, the batter. Action again in the Philadelphia bullpen. Ben Rivera was up earlier. Now it's Roger Mason. The bullpen coach Mike Ryan looking on. Backdoor breaking ball miss. 2-0 on Fernandez. Cito Gaston said it was a big lift to Olerud when they acquired Fernandez in the trade from the Mets. It gave John a little bit more protection. Tony chops one to second. And Duncan throws him out. But the Blue Jays have the lead, courtesy of the home run by Olerud after 6, 5-4 Toronto.
Something old is modern again. Modern Cafe and Billiards.
There are some things parents will never hear.
Mom, would it be okay if I went to bed early tonight?
Things that would be too good to be true.
Would anyone mind if I vacuum the stairs?
Luckily, some things are good and true, like the McDonald's family-sized pepperoni pizza. Smothered in cheese and pepperoni for only $5.99 or 2 for $10. Every day.
No dessert for me, Mom. I don't deserve it.
The family-sized pepperoni pizza. It's a parent's dream come true.
Cameco and the uranium mining industry are making a difference in communities like Porcupine Plain.
Cameco and the exploration industry purchased thousands of core boxes from us during the course of a year. Not only does this allow us to survive, but I think in real terms it allows our small rural community to survive as well.
The Porcupine Opportunities Real Work for Real Wages program gives challenged people more than jobs. It shows them what they can achieve.
The people who work here take a lot of pride in their work, and it shows.
Cameco, connected to Saskatchewan's communities.
Here's 2 more reasons why all trucks are not created equal. Ford trucks offer split bench seating, power lumbar, and improved Super Cab rear seating. Plus, get 3.9 financing up to 48 months, but only till October 22nd and only at your Ford and Mercury dealer. Here's 2 more reasons why all trucks are not created equal. Buy selected Ford pickups and get the V8 engine upgrade and handling package at no extra charge. Plus, get 3.9 financing up to 48 months, but only till October 22nd and only at your Ford and Mercury dealer.
Heading to the 7th inning in Game 1 of the World Series, and the Toronto Blue Jays lead for the first time tonight by a score of 5-4. And Roberto Alomar's 2 defensive plays loom large right now.
Yeah, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. In the 5th inning, he makes the play on the Lenny Dykstra little looper over first base, and this shows you the extraordinary range of Roberto Alomar. He makes it about even with the position, and then with Duncan up and runners on at first and second and 2 out, Alomar once again shows that there is a Rob in Robbie.
And Dave Hollins is at the plate, facing Al Leiter. Tries to avoid giving up a run last inning, thanks in large part to the assistance of Alomar. Hollins 0 for 2 with a walk his first time up. Aaron Dalton is on deck, and then Jim Eisenreich. Leiter beginning his 2nd inning of relief. Juan Guzman. And Kurt Schilling has gone all the way through the first 6 innings for Philadelphia. Broken bat, dribbler down to third. Sprague on the move. Nice play.
All in one motion for Ed Sprague. Transfer of the ball from the glove and a strong throw. Ed Sprague with 17 errors this year, but he did a very, very good job. And that's one of the reasons Cito Gaston says it's not an easy decision whether to put Paul Molitor there when the Blue Jays go to Philadelphia on Tuesday for Game 3.
Decision Gaston still has not made. He said before the game tonight he wants to wait to see how these first couple of games go. Aaron Dalton singled to right to drive in a run in the first. He struck out in the third and was intentionally walked in the 5th. And he's in the hole here, 0-2. It wasn't all that long ago that Al Leiter experienced what he called the lowest of several low points in his career. That was in 1991. When he spent much of the year at Dunedin in Florida on 2 injury rehabilitation assignments. He and his wife, and at the time they were newlyweds, were in a hotel. They thought it would just be 20-day rehab and then on the way back to the major leagues. And as it turns out, Leiter spent much of the summer at Dunedin, far away from the bright lights of the major leagues. Alomar throws out Dalton. As we mentioned Dunedin, that's where the Blue Jays hold their spring training, and the Phillies train in Clearwater. Their 2 spring training ballparks are only about 5 miles apart. And as a result, they do see a lot of each other in the spring. Played 4 times in spring training to the Phillies and the Blue Jays. The Phillies won all 4, prompting Cito Gaston to make the Phillies his pick to win the National League East before the season began. So that's why you're picking the Phillies. He said, well, we can't beat them, so they must be pretty good.
Cito Gaston and Jim Fregosi, very close friends. They belong to the same country club, Crescent Oaks Country Club in Tarpon Springs, Florida.
Fregosa said they don't play much golf together, but they have met from time to time at the 19th hole. Charlie Williams said it was not a swing by Eisenreich, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Wow. Tough pitch to take and a tough pitch to call a ball.
That's a swing.
I thought the pitch was a strike, too.
No question about that one. Leiter works a 1-2-3 inning. 7th inning stretch in Toronto. The home team has a 1-run lead.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by SaskTel.
Gotta tell you about the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Keep track of your long distance calls. When you've made 5, send them in to win. Or order one of these SaskTel Long Distance Savings Plans. You could win a new Pontiac Grand Am. Or one of 2 Macintosh computers from Apple. Or one of hundreds of great prizes from SaskTel. Make every call count with the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Entry forms in your mail or at SaskTel Telemarts.
This man is no ordinary man. He sets the prices at Canadian Tire. Prices that get noticed. Prices that have impact. He keeps prices especially low on many of the brands you use most. No, this is not a sale. It's everyday low prices like these MotoMaster all-season radials from $27.99 each, and save every day on 4 packs of hockey tape and Cooper SK600 hockey helmets. So please, don't be alarmed. He just likes doing his job. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
This is a Sony Trinitron commercial. Sony Trinitron, designed to last.
This
is your standard living room. Seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. Our living room also has seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. The only difference is, ours comes with a 4.3-liter V6 engine, standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a driver's side facial airbag, and the most towing capacity in its class. Introducing the 1994 GMC Safari.
Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Curt Schilling's first pitch of the bottom of the 7th, the ball up and into Ed Sprague. Blue Jays batting with a 5-4 lead. They have trailed 3 times in this ball game. This is the first time they've led. Sprague with a high pop-up. Hollins running out of room. There is action in the Philadelphia bullpen. The right-hander is Larry Anderson and the lefty David West. Three right-handed hitters due up in this inning: Sprague, Borders, and Henderson. I mentioned the possibility of Paul Molitor going into play third base when the scene shifts to Philadelphia and the DH will not be employed. And Ed Sprague has a great attitude about that. He said, if that's what's best for the team, I am more than willing to go to the bench and allow Molitor to play. Molitor has to play somewhere.
Last time Molitor played third base on any regular basis was back in 1989. He played 112 games there that year. That's a long time to lay out and then come in on the World Series and try to defend that position. And if it were left field, it'd be different. First base, it would be different. But third base, very difficult.
Paul has joked that he'll be fine over at third base as long as the pitcher will cut off the throws across the infield and relay them on to first. Of course, there's a guy named Gary Sheffield who was coming through the Milwaukee organization that helped move Molitor away from third base and into a DH role. Schilling with a strikeout of Sprague for the first out of the 7th. Third strikeout of the night for Curt Schilling.
And the slider gets Sprague. Ed, as much as any of the Blue Jays, a high fastball hitter. He proved that in Game 2 of the series last year. His first World Series at bat, a home run off Jeff Reardon.
At Borders, he was the MVP of last year's World Series. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's lined to first and struck out. And he was out ahead of that off-speed offering from Schilling. 0-2. Toronto leads 5-4. The Blue Jays bat in the 7th. One out and the base is empty. That's well hit up the middle. Duncan couldn't get it. And Borders has his first hit of the night. The Blue Jays 7th.
Good piece of hitting. Borders does not try to pull the slider. He hits it hard the other way, and it goes under the glove of Duncan.
Dalton returns to the home plate area after a trip to the mound. And the top of the order comes around again for the Blue Jays. Ricky Henderson digs in. He's 0 for 2 with a walk back in the first inning. Again, tough to tell where that one missed. Kurt Schilling makes his home now in the Philadelphia area in New Jersey. We're up in Arizona, but he was born in Alaska. And as Pat O'Brien told you during the pregame show, he's the first native of Alaska to start Game 1 of the World Series. He's actually boasting of the northernmost birthplace of any Game 1 starter in World Series history. Anchorage sits on the 62nd parallel. It's amazing what they research when it comes to the World Series. Of course, all the talk about the Phillies and their appearance and the bellies and such. Well, they added together all the weights of the starting lineups. And the average Philadelphia starter weighs only a pound-and-a-half more than the average Toronto starter.
Caption under one of the pictures here, the Toronto Star was the Broad Street Bellies, a play on the Broad Street Bullies. Of course, the Philadelphia Flyers were classified as that back in the middle 70s. Bernie Perrant, Bobby Clark.
Maybe that's why Fregosi didn't start in Cavalier tonight. He wanted to keep the average down. The average weight of a Philadelphia starter tonight, 198.8 pounds. While the average Blue Jay starter's weight, 197.2. And there's a guy in the background who's an interesting figure in this series, Nick Leyba, formerly the Phillies manager. He managed Philadelphia for 2 seasons plus 13 games. And was replaced by Jim Fregosi. Now the Blue Jays' third base coach. Payoff pitch to Henderson, line down the left field line. Borders will try for third and get there as the throw goes to second, holding Henderson to a long single. First and third with one out for Toronto in the 7th inning.
Nice play by Milt Thompson to cut this ball off, prevent it from hitting the fence, and throwing to the right base. That keeps the double play in order, but I think Jim Fregosi may go to the left-hander here. Swing Devon White around to the right side and give him a better pickoff move with Henderson on at first base.
David West will be the new pitcher when we come back.
In the game of life, there are a few things you can count on. You can count on adventure, for life is an adventure. You can count on excitement, if you care to go looking for it. You can count on the principles of flight. Attitude equals altitude. And you can count on your dreams. Only they will get you to the stars. Hobby World for dreams and adventure.
Scotia Centre Mall, downtown Saskatoon. The mall on 2nd Avenue South and on 1st Avenue South. We're the mall that joins the avenues. Discover us. We're the mall with style, offering over 20 unique and distinct stores and services where you will find service with style, fashion with style, selection with style, and relaxing with style. Scotia Centre Mall, downtown Saskatoon. Discover our style.
A fall preview from Manhattan Casuals. Manhattan Casuals for men and women, Bayside, Saskatoon, and the Galleria, Regina.
Serious athlete or just staying in shape? Improve your overall fitness level by cross-training. Make it a part of your day-to-day fitness routine at any of Saskatoon's indoor leisure centers.
Kurt Schilling's night is over after 99 pitches, over 6 1/3 innings. He wasn't as effective certainly tonight as he was in his 2 starts in the National League Championship Series. And here's David West, who appeared in the '91 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. He didn't have a very easy time of it, as that line indicated. He's greeted by Devon White. Blue Jays trying to build on a 5-4 lead. They have runners at first and third with 1 out. First pitch from West, breaking ball up and away. That is Colleen White, Devon White's wife, looking on in the Blue Jays wide section. The 1-0 with Henderson running was fouled away by White.
Devon White, his last at bat from the left side. Homers down the right field line, and you may remember in Game 6 of the American League Championship Series when Gene Lamont brought in a left-hander, Scott Radinsky. The first man he faced was Devon White, and he hit a home run, a solo shot, and then that ignited the Blue Jays. They blew out the White Sox, scoring 4 in the 9th.
Certainly Lamont made the percentage move. White has been a better hitter left-handed during the regular season. He hit only .254 right-handed as compared to .281 from the left, and Devon had only 3 of his 15 regular season home runs from the right side.
I said 4 in the 9th. The Blue Jays scored 3 in the 9th that last game at Chicago.
Two balls and 2 strikes. David West trying to erase the memory of his 2 appearances in that '91 World Series while with the Twins. He faced 6 batters and retired none. He allowed 2 walks and 4 hits, including a home run to Lonnie Smith. So his World Series ERA is infinity. Henderson runs again, and White fouled it off to the right.
I think if you run in a situation like this, of course Ricky Henderson knows that. I mean, 1,095 stolen bases during the season. But if you run, you have to make more sure than you would under normal circumstances, because if you get thrown out, you lose the sacrifice fly or fielder's choice that's going to plate a run that puts you 2 runs up.
Fans chanting Devo, Devo. That's Devon White's nickname. The 2-2 pitch. Well hit down the left field line. Fair ball. Borders in to make it a 2-run lead. Henderson to third. Throw to second. Not in time. And the Blue Jays lead 6-4.
Tight fastball, and it's fisted down the left field line. White had 42 doubles during the regular season, and he just has tremendous plate coverage right now. A world of confidence, and you can see it in his eyes.
One of the top hitters ever in the postseason, as we showed you earlier. And he has driven in 2 big runs for the Blue Jays tonight. Now a chance to break it open. They lead by 2. They have 2 men in scoring position. The infield in for the Phillies. And Roberto Alomar went spinning out of the way of ball 1.
Tell you, an option for Jim Fregosi right now is to walk Alomar and bring in Larry Anderson to pitch to Joe Carter. He's opted to pitch to Alomar. This is a dangerous situation for Jim Fregosi.
Alomar, the only Blue Jay not to reach base tonight. And if you are going to pitch to him, that's the reason why you stick with the left-handed pitcher. Roberto fared much better against right-handers. The 2-0. In the dirt, check swing. They wanted to peel down to first. Strike, says Paul Runge.
It appeared that he went around Alomar a little too anxious, and he goes too far. Nice play by Dalton on the scoop.
The 2-1, and David West fouled out of play to the right. The run in this inning charged to Kurt Schilling, and he's also responsible for Ricky Henderson standing at third. White at second, the responsibility of David West. The 2-2 pitch fouled out of play. He's been outstanding in this situation during his career in the postseason. West could use the strikeout. The 2-2. Ripped down the line, fair ball to score 2. Alomar has a double, and the Blue Jays have an 8-4 lead. And David West still hasn't gotten anybody out in World Series play.
6 straight batters got on in 1991, and the first 2 here with doubles pulled down the line. First White and now Alomar. And remember, Fregosi did have the option of walking Alomar, but you know what he's looking at? He's looking at Alomar's production from the right side and opted to go that way.
Larry Anderson to pitch for Philadelphia after this.
Look, a rainbow! Over there! Oh, there! Don't you see it? I can, through my Panasonic Palm Quarter color viewfinder.
Where? I hardly noticed it through my black and white viewfinder, but I'm sure I got it on tape.
Great, let's go see. Do your camcorder tapes play in a VHS recorder?
No.
Oh, well, my palm quarter tapes will.
Oh.
So why didn't you just get a palm quarter?
I don't know.
The choice is obvious. The Panasonic Palm Quarter. Its tapes will play in your VCR.
Right now at Mazda, we're making all the moves to move the 93s with minimum discounts of $1,000 on 323, Protege, MX-6 Mystère, and Mazda trucks. A $2,000 minimum discount on 626 Chronos and the family-sized MPV. And a $4,000 minimum discount on the luxurious 929 Serenia. See dealers for details.
Whatever it takes, we gotta make the moves.
Right now at Tim Hortons, you can enjoy one of our many savory soups with a tea biscuit, coffee, and a donut for just $2.99. Or you can enjoy a fresh Tim Hortons sandwich with a coffee and a donut from just $3.69 to $4.49. You know, that's quite the soup deal for only $2.99. And a Tim Hortons sandwich deal from only $3.69? Wow! Tim Hortons mealtime deals. It's so nice to have a choice.
Choosing the right heating and cooling dealer used to be a real guessing game. Would he be a professional? Have the experience? A guy you can really trust? But now, with Lennox Quality Dealer Standards, Lennox products and dealers are an unbeatable team. So take the guesswork out of choosing a dealer. With Quality Dealer Standards, only from Lennox.
Attaboy, Dave.
David West faced two men and gave up two doubles. The first to White, the second to Alomar, and the new pitcher is Larry Anderson.
Larry Anderson, the oldest reliever in the National League. He's over 40. And he had a save in the National League Championship Series with no save during the season.
He did a very solid job during the regular season as the right-handed setup man for Jim Fregosi. And he's on to try to put out the fire. The Blue Jays have scored 3 times here in the 7th. And they have Alomar at second, still only 1 out. And the batter is Joe Carter.
How about that, though? Larry Anderson, with 64 appearances during the season, he had no saves, and then he saves one in the National League Championship Series. That has never been done, by the way, with pitchers who have had 25 or more appearances.
And Anderson saved that dramatic Game 5 win. Came on in the 10th after Lenny Dykstra had given the Phillies the lead with the home run in the top of the 10th inning off Mark Wohlers. He looked to second to keep Alomar close. Carter drove in a run in the 3rd with a sacrifice fly. He singled and scored in the 2nd. And he chased the ball out of the strike zone. Same pitch and same result, 1-2.
I think Joe's going to see that pitch again. That's a slider down and away, and that's the slot, the effective slot for Larry Anderson. Away to right-handers, and the more he gets ahead, the more he'll move off the plate. So if you're Joe Carter now, I think you ought to be looking away.
Alomar takes off. Carter strikes out. Dalton doesn't try the throw. So Anderson went right back to the same pitch to get Carter for the 2nd out of the inning. And Alomar a stolen base.
Alomar had 15 steals of 3rd on the season. He and Ricky Henderson tied for the most. I think had Carter not swung at the ball, then Dalton goes ahead and makes the throw. But because after Carter swung, there are 2 outs, there's no sense in taking the chance of throwing to 3rd.
Intentionally walked John Olerud, who homered his last time up. This is nothing new. Olerud was intentionally walked 33 times during the regular season. But you don't gain much with number 19 standing in the on-deck circle. He spoke of Anderson's performance in Game 5, and it was memorable. He said he was extraordinarily nervous when he took the mound, was shaking like a leaf, and was really rushing, not taking his time between pitches. And Darren Dalton went out to the mound and said to him, "Hey, listen, Larry, the beer's on ice. It's still going to be cold when the game's over. Take your time." And they had a chuckle, and Anderson settled down and got out of the inning with the save, and the Phillies had a big win. They took the 3-2 lead back to Philadelphia and won in 6.
How about that, though? It's a question of choosing your poison. You know, you walk Olerud to get to Molitor.
Went from the leading hitter in the league this year to the second leading hitter. Molitor 1 for 3 tonight. An infield single and an RBI back in the second. Ball 1, low and away. Molitor is the 8th batter of the inning. Blue Jays lead 8-4 in Game 1. Game 2 is tomorrow night, airtime 8 Eastern time here on CBS, with first pitch scheduled for 8:29. Terry Mulholland, the lefty, for the Phillies. Dave Stewart, the MVP of the ALCS with his 2-0 record against Chicago, will be on the mound for Toronto. Molitor tried to surprise with a bunt, and he fouled it off.
Catching Dave Hollins back at third base, and if nothing else, that'll bring Hollins in. Wow. That's including his hit tonight.
Eight for Toronto. We're in the 7th inning. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. The 1-1. Well hit to left. Thompson drifting back at the wall. And a great catch. Reminiscent of his catch off Mark Lemke in the League Championship Series. Milt Thompson to the wall to take an extra base hit away from Paul Molitor.
Watch the world's biggest event on CTV this winter, the Olympic Games.
Gotta tell you about the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Keep track of your long distance calls. When you've made 5, send them in to win. Or order one of these SaskTel Long Distance Savings Plans. You could win a new Pontiac Grandette. Or one of 2 Macintosh computers from Apple. Or one of hundreds of great prizes from SaskTel. Make every call count with the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Entry forms in your mail or at SaskTel Telmarts.
Read my lips, no. Another friend wanting Super Bowl tickets? Please don't call me. Pick up a case of Bud or call this number. In every specially marked case of Bud, there's a scratch and win card. Get a winning card and you've won 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. Hotel and cash included. Of course, if your sister's husband did go to school with the guy who used to feed my next-door neighbor's cousin's goldfish, give me a shout. But your chances are better playing the Bud Big events. No!
Will we ever look forward to Mondays? What about mowing the lawn or going to the dentist? What about driving a station wagon? Will that ever be fun? Introducing the Volvo 850 Sports Wagon.
For 47 years, millions of Canadians have relied on Canada Savings Bonds to help build their dreams. Whatever your goals in life, make them happen with safe, secure, cashable Canada Savings Bonds. Buy yours wherever you bank or invest from October 18th to November 1st.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by SaskTel.
3 for the Blue Jays tonight. Sparky Anderson says you can't pitch to the top 6 hitters in the Blue Jays order without expecting to be damaged by them, and the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters have combined for 6 of the 8 runs batted in. The Phillies have stranded 8 runners, including the bases loaded in the 6th. And here's the catch that kept it a ball game. If Milt Thompson doesn't come up with that one, it's a 6-run game.
Well, that's a fine play by Thompson, and certainly you're right, Sean, reminiscent of the ball hit by Lemke off of Mitch Williams.
So it's a 4-run deficit facing Philadelphia with 2 innings remaining. Ricky Jordan to the plate, and he's quickly in the hole 0-2. He's 1 for 3. He singled to right off Al Leiter in the 6th. He struck out his first 2 times up tonight. That was against Juan Guzman. Pete Incaviglia has moved into the on-deck circle to hit for Thompson. And Kevin Stocker is due up. Still 0-2 on Jordan. Al Leiter has pitched 2 scoreless innings of relief. He retired the side in order last inning. One ball and 2 strikes. Well hit, but right at Sprague. Bobbled it momentarily and still had plenty of time to throw out Jordan with as sharply as that ball was hit. 1 out in the 8th inning.
The hops are more predictable on the artificial surface. That ball on top of Sprague so quickly, it hit the heel of the glove, popped out. But the hops have been going the Blue Jays' way the last couple of innings.
Perhaps only fitting that they should get the hops since their team is owned by a brewery. The Labatt Brewing Company. Incaviglia batting for Thompson. Minky at .274 during the regular season, with 89 runs batted in only 116 games. He tried to abort the swing. It was much too late. 0-2. You talk about the hops, and there should be predictable hops throughout this series. This will be an all artificial turf World Series, only the 4th World Series in history in which all the games will be played on the fake grass.
And the first one since 1987, when the Twins and the Cardinals met. The Twins beating St. Louis in 7.
And the only World Series the Phillies have won was the first, played entirely on artificial turf in 1980. And they beat Kansas City. This is the 4th World Series played entirely on artificial turf. And Pete Incaviglia fortunate to still be standing at home plate. Davey Phillips looked like he was about to ring him up and then thought better of it. Dwayne Ward is warming up in the Toronto bullpen. Here's their ace closer. For Toronto in the top of the 8th. 1 out of the bases empty. Al Leiter's 2-2 is inside. Looked like he tried to get a little extra on that one. Doesn't look like a big gum night though. Maybe what? 8 or 10?
8 to 10.
Nowhere near as high as 30. Near the dugout. Borders has a play and makes it. Two down in the 8th, and all of a sudden Al Leiter has retired 6 in a row.
That's since that play by Alomar when he went behind second base with runners on at first and second. and it saved at least one run after saving a run the inning before. There's something about pitching and defense, how it can keep things close and give you a chance to catch up and come from behind. And that's what the Blue Jays have done. They haven't come from behind, but they did come from that 4-4 score in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Kevin Stocker 0 for 2 with a walk. We showed you during the Budweiser game summary the effectiveness of the Blue Jay batters 2 through 5. The bottom part of the Phillies order has not had a good night. With that base hit by Stocker, batters 6 through 9 are 2 for 15 for the Phillies.
Only Ricky Jordan and Kevin Stocker in the bottom 4 have hits. Jordan a harmless single. He was erased on a double play in the 6th inning, and now the 2-out single by Stocker.
He's at first for Lenny Dykstra. Lenny singled his last time up. He walked and scored in the 1st inning. Blue Jays have 10 hits. Philadelphia now with 9. Lenny Dykstra with 6 postseason home runs. Only Jose Canseco, Kirk Gibson, and Dave Henderson have more among active players. We talked at the top of the broadcast tonight about the likelihood of this being a high-scoring series with these two proficient run-producing teams. 12 runs tonight, the most in the first game of a World Series since 1980, when the Phillies beat Kansas City 7-6. That'd be what, about 13 runs?
You got it, baby. Bob Walk was the winning pitcher in that game, as a matter of fact. He was a rookie starting for the Phillies.
Boy, took one shoe off to figure that out. Alomar couldn't come up with the ball in shallow right, and Dykstra is aboard at first. Robbie, who has made a couple of outstanding plays tonight, nearly made another, but Dykstra is safe, and they have scored that an error on Alomar. It was a tough chance, but one ordinarily he gobbles up.
And after the error, he does have the presence of mind. After he drops the ball, it is a routine play. Like a frog hopping from one pad to the other. That ball giggoping out of that glove. An error on Alomar. He did have the presence of mind to try to throw behind the runner at second. And Dwayne Ward's going to be seen for the first time in the series.
Love the Sable. It's just beautiful. I feel very elegant in the car. I feel very elegant standing beside the car.
It's got climate control, V6 power.
I love power.
You could lease the wagon or the sedan for the same price.
I need comfort. I drive 60, 70,000 kilometers a year.
We were out at the movies the other night, and we had 6 adults in the vehicle.
The Sable has dual airbags.
Great styling. A little finer than the style of my tennis game, I'd have to say that for sure. I can get the ball back, but I don't look all that pretty.
Without a doubt.
Isn't it nice to know you can now enjoy cafe-style cappuccino instantly, right in your home, from Nescafe.
This is the office where our Ford truck engineers get a lot of work done. Because by knowing firsthand how a full-size pickup ought to work, they can make it work even better. That's why the Ford F-Series now has a new standard airbag, standard anti-lock brakes, and constant ideas to make tough even tougher. More proof that at Ford, we're looking ahead and looking to stay ahead. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
For a woman's skin, you've never seen anything like it. It was discovered at the Pond's Institute. Pond's New Dramatic Results capsules with the miracle of Nutrium, a complex containing essential moisturizers naturally found in healthy young skin. You'll feel the difference. Your skin's appearance is revitalized in seconds. Pond's new Dramatic Results capsules.
Dwayne Ward on a save situation for Toronto. He talked yesterday about his pitching philosophy.
I try to get a different look with my breaking ball each time I see a guy. To right-handers, it's going to be primarily something that is going to be down and away from them. But sometimes, I'll drop it in for a strike. Just let these guys know that, yes, I will throw it for a strike on you if you're not careful. And to left-handers, it's a dangerous pitch because if you do hang it, they have a good tendency of hitting it out of the ballpark.
Ward, the closer this year. Once Tom Henke decided to move along to Texas via free agency, Ward, for so many seasons, the effective setup man for Henke. And in the role of closer, he has performed brilliantly. He led the league with those 45 saves. Tying run in the on-deck circle. This is just about the most generous save opportunity a closer can be afforded. And that tying run in the on-deck circle is John Kruk. 8-4 Toronto. Phillies trying to rally with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Big swing by Duncan. He's been a standout tonight with 3 hits. But Ward is ahead of him 0-2. The second pitch, a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Kevin Stocker, the runner at second. Lenny Dykstra at first. The error by Alomar, his first ever in the postseason, in 24 postseason games. Duncan, cue shot foul off the end of the bat.
Interesting when you talk about the saves of Dwayne Ward. When he came in the 9th inning this year, he was 41 for 41. However, when he came in the 8th inning, he was only 4 for 10. All 6 blown saves this year was when he came in the 8th inning.
The 0-2 to Duncan. Check swing, strike 3, says Davy Phillips. And Ward comes on to quickly put out the fire. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-4 Toronto.
Now, with a Coca-Cola Sports Break, here's Rod Black.
And the Blue Jays only 3 outs away from taking Game 1 of this series. Let's catch up on the National Hockey League tonight right now. First to Winnipeg, Ed Belfour of the Hawks sending the puck along the boards. And then Nelson Emerson playing a little Robbie Alomar here. Catches the puck and then tries to, it looks like, throw it in the net. The puck ends up in the net. It was awarded a goal. In overtime, the Jets win. Darryl Sutter is still screaming in Winnipeg, we think. The Jets shut out the Hawks in overtime. Washington ends its winless streak to start the season. Al Iafrate, the winning goal in front of Grant Fuhrer. The Capitals now 1-6. 4-3 over the Sabres. Around the horn, Quebec beats Montreal. Tampa Bay over Ottawa. Toronto 6-0, beating Detroit. Vancouver over Edmonton. The Devils 5-0 to start the season. Pittsburgh wins. Dallas shuts out St. Louis. Philadelphia on top of the Rangers and a couple of partials. The Kings lead the Flames, and the Bruins and Sharks are scoreless. If the lead holds up, Dave Stewart goes tomorrow night up 1-0. I asked him if the Phils scare him.
I'm not afraid of very many baseball teams. I respect their ball club, but I'm not afraid of very many teams. I've done a lot in this ball game. And the things that I've done have been because I have given teams their respect, but, I respect myself most of all and my abilities to be able to get things done. And so I'm just going to go out and do what I have to do.
That's tomorrow night, but let's get now back to tonight.
It looks European, definitely European in style.
He hugs you, there's lots of room.
It's very inviting and comfortable.
Transversely mounted V6.
If I want to be by myself, I won't go upstairs and read. I will go for a drive. It would be a winding road, trees, mountains. There would have to be water.
I love the way this thing corners. Responses in this car are smooth. I could drive this car all day. You just made a dream come true.
Welcome back to Toronto. George Brett of the Kansas City Royals recently retired throughout the ceremonial first pitch, and we now join him here in the commissioner's box. or what should be the commissioner's box, but since there isn't a commissioner, we're down here with Bud Selig. Anyway, George, what is your assessment of this game and this series?
Well, I've seen the Blue Jays play about 13 times this year and have played against them for a long time. They're a great ball club. I haven't seen Philadelphia play with the exception on TV. It's kind of going the way I thought it would right now.
How about Robbie Alomar? He's had some kind of night.
Yeah, he saved a lot of runs. Had the big key hit double, I think, the last inning, and he is right now my MVP of the ballgame.
George, would you ever consider getting into managing?
Well, that's one of the reasons I retired, because I got tired of the travel. So right now I'm looking forward to my job as Vice President of Baseball Operations for the Royals, and who knows, in 3 or 4 years I might miss the traveling and then want to do it, but right now, no, I don't want to be a manager.
George, it's great to see you. Enjoy the series.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you.
Sean?
Thank you, Jim. Thanks to George Brett as well. Roger Mason is on the mound, new pitcher for Philadelphia. You got Tony Fernandez to line to center on the first pitch of the inning. And now Ed Sprague is at the plate with a count of 1-1. Those are the numbers posted by Mason, dividing his time between San Diego and Philadelphia. Came over to the Phillies in a midseason trade. And Pete Incaviglia remains in the game in left field. Sprague looked at a ball, 2-1.
Funny seeing George Brett. You think the last time the Phillies played in a World Series, it was 1980, the year that George Brett had his best year. Hit .390 that year, and it was hitting .400 in late September.
Kruk. An officer run a little interference and gave the gentleman a pat on the back. We talked earlier about how the Toronto papers have picked up kind of where the Atlanta papers left off, poking fun at the appearances of the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, yesterday the Toronto City Council passed an ordinance allowing bars, as Sprague strikes out, in the city of Toronto to stay open an hour later tonight and tomorrow night. Ordinarily, taverns in the city of Toronto required to close at 1 a.m. and they'll be allowed tonight and tomorrow night to stay open until 2 a.m. And there was a cartoon in the Toronto paper with a sketch of John Kruk with a large belly and said, "Can you believe they changed the laws just to accommodate me?" Of course, if you want a libation after the game, you don't have to go very far here with the Hard Rock Cafe out in right center field. Pat Borders upset with himself after an ugly swing, 0-2.
Well, it's the Phillies who are between a rock and a hard place tonight. They trail by 4. Roger Mason trying to hold the Blue Jays down until...
I liked that one, by the way, and Buzz Hannon, our stage manager, groaned when you said that.
He did?
He did. It's his birthday. Show the man some respect. And again, playing on that theme. Friendly warning from the locals to the men from Philadelphia. 2-2 the count on Borders. He's 1 for 3. He started a 3-run rally in the 7th with a 1-out single and scored the first of the 3 runs. Roger Mason, the 4th pitcher of the night for the Phillies. Chopped down to third. Hollins throws him out. So we go to the 9th. Last chance for the Phillies. Kruk, Hollins, and Dalton do up. It's 8-4 Toronto.
The Blues, now they have this energy, this intensity. It's when the sun goes down and the Blues, they come out to play.
Like all great blues, ours have a quality that comes from the heart of the country.
That's cool.
It happens about 52 times a year, and generally after the second cup of coffee. It's called Saturday. And for a lot of people, it means a trip to Canadian Tire, where Canadians can buy products they're proud to own at the price they want to pay. Top quality, guaranteed low prices. Maybe that's why people have been coming back for over 70 years of Saturdays. And all the other fine days, too. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
What if, from your PC, you could command any computer in your organization, no matter who made it? You could recruit the system down the hall, ask the mainframe to fetch applications elsewhere, then tell the printer to print. And if the one company that lets you do this would service not just their computers, but your entire network, could you imagine working with anyone else?
It looks European. Yeah. Definitely European in style.
He hugs you. There's lots of room. It's very inviting and comfortable. Transversely mounted V6. If I want to be by myself, I won't go upstairs and read. I will go for a drive. It would be a winding road, trees, mountains. There would have to be water. I love the way this thing corners. Responses in this car are smooth. I could drive this car all day. You just made a dream come true.
Game 1 of the World Series. The Philadelphia Phillies have enjoyed the lead in this game on 3 occasions, but 3 times Toronto battled back to tie, and then the Blue Jays took the lead in the 6th and 7th innings. Tonight's coverage of the 1993 World Series, produced by Bob Degas, directed by Bob Fishman. Our associate director is Steve Shear. The coordinating producer of Baseball 93 is Eric Mann. Baseball 93 is produced by George Barris. The senior producer of CBS Sports is Ed Gorin. And the executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile. John Kruk, the leadoff hitter for Philadelphia. He was retired for the first time tonight in his last at bat when he struck out against Al Leiter to end the 6th. Kruk has 2 singles and a walk. He has driven in 2 and scored 1. Wayne Ward's first pitch of the 9th outside. Kruk, Hollins, and Dalton due up. Two and 0.
Wayne Ward finished in the shadow of Tom Hinkie for 5 years before finally being given the job of short reliever. Hinkie with 40 saves with Texas this year, and Ward with 45. Think of how many years earlier Dwayne Ward could have been given the job and been successful. He has just had a remarkable year.
He's the first Blue Jay ever to lead the American League in saves with his 45 this year. Battled back from 2-0 to the 2-2 pitch. Check swing, bouncer down the line. Sprague on the run, throws it away. It got by Olerud, tracked down by Alomar, and even though he's still chasing after it, Kruk just now takes off for second and gets there ahead of the throw. Took John Kruk a long time to realize that that ball was rolling with plenty of momentum and foul ground off first, out toward the right field corner.
I would imagine it will be scored an infield hit and an error on Ed Sprague. Of course, when you're 4 runs down, you want to make sure you're not thrown out trying to advance a base. You have to play more of a passive game. Sprague would have had the throw been on line. The ball appears to scoot under the glove of John Olerud. And it just kept going and going and going, and Alomar couldn't catch up to it. Kruk finally went to second.
They have posted an error for the Blue Jays, their 3rd of the night. They have not yet posted a hit. Ward's first pitch to Hollins at 97 miles per hour on our gun. Hollins 0 for 3 with a walk back in the 1st inning. Here's the starter Guzman. 0-2. It has been scored a hit and an error now. An infield hit for Kruk, his 3rd hit of the night. And the error on Sprague, the 3rd Toronto error. And Hollins stays alive at 0-2. Aaron Dalton is on deck. So each team has 10 hits. In the dirt, blocked by Borders. That kept Kruk at second. Ward facing Hollins. Both men were all-stars for the first time in their careers this year. Ward's appearance in the all-star game in Baltimore overshadowed by all of the theatrics surrounding Mike Messina of Baltimore. He was warming up in the 9th inning while Ward was on the mound. Hollins strikes out. One out in the 9th. Game 2 tomorrow night. 8 o'clock airtime here on CBS. That's Eastern time. And the first pitch at 8:29. Again, the pitching matchup. Terry Mulholland for Philadelphia and Dave Stewart, a former Philly, for Toronto. There's Mulholland. Unless things change here in a hurry, will be pitching tomorrow night with his team trailing in the series 1-0. Aaron Dalton took strike one at the knee.
And unless things change for the Toronto Blue Jays, they will continue to have problems with left-handed pitchers. That's why Jim Fregosi is throwing 2 left-handers against Toronto, because the Blue Jays against left-handed starters this year were 22 and 25.
Dalton with a home run cut. He foul-tipped it into the mid of Borders. And that record for Toronto against left-handed starters, the worst record versus lefty starters by any World Series team in the last 55 years. And that's a note Jim Fregosi is well aware of. The 0-2 struck him out. And that was one of those pitches Ward talked about in the soundbite that you heard when he first came into the ball game. The slider down on the back foot of a left-handed hitter.
That's the similar pitch on which he got Dave Hollins. 2 sliders down and into the left-handers. And what that does when he comes in a very close game in the future, if that situation exists, it allows him to throw the fastball away from the left-handers because they'll be conscious of the breaking ball.
Fastball in tight to Eisenreich. He's 0 for 4, has struck out twice, including his last at bat. All 3 outs recorded by Dwayne Ward have come via the strikeout. That gives him 30 strikeouts now in 21 postseason innings in his career, the best ratio, as you saw, in postseason history. A 1-1 to Eisenreich. Well, that's just not fair when you throw it 97 and then follow it up with that. The Blue Jays 1 strike away from winning game 1. The 1-2 pitch. Eisenreich laid off it.
Boy, you could see the eyes of Dwayne Ward, how much he wants it. He is sniffing out the save right now.
He tried and go an inning in the 3rd with 4 strikeouts. All the outs on K's. Very close, but now the count is full. And should Eisenreich reach, Ricky Jordan would bat next. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled away to the left. Another 97-mile-per-hour fastball from Ward. 29-year-old right-hander, 6'4", 225 pounds, a native of New Mexico. Makes his home now in the offseason in Las Vegas. There's an offseason golf companion of Greg Maddux, the Atlanta Braves. The payoff pitch. Eisenreich still alive. The crowd didn't realize that Borders didn't squeeze the foul tip. The Blue Jays lead 8-4 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Phillies have John Kruk at second base. Another 3-2 pitch. Little lob and a base hit down the left field line. Kruk around to score, and it's 8-5, and that puts the tying run in the on-deck circle for Philadelphia.
That's a terrific at-bat by Jim Eisenreich, working the count to 3-2, fouling off a couple of nasty pitches. Down the left field line, allowing Kruk to score. First RBI of the series for Jim Eisenreich. First ever, as a matter of fact. This being his first season. And now it's up to Ricky Jordan to get on deck for Pete Incaviglia. If Jordan gets on, Incaviglia would represent the tying run.
Jordan bounced one foul past Larry Boa in the third base coach's box. Ricky's 1 for 4. He singled in the 6th off Al Leiter. There's Incaviglia representing the tying run in the on-deck circle. The head one flying out, and the count is 0-2 on Jordan. The fans are back on their feet. The 0-2. Well outside.
That was a hanger there. That ball was hittable. Just stayed up in the strike zone, and Jordan fouled it back.
And at the very least, the Phillies are extending Ward here in the 9th, which might reduce his effectiveness tomorrow night. Eisenreich batted him. Eisenreich takes off for second. Fly ball to right. Carter started in. Now he's back to make the catch. And game 1 of the 1993 World Series goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. The final score, Toronto 8 and Philadelphia 5. We'll have more from Skydome right after this.
Which is the best pitcher you've ever faced?
The one with McCain Punch.
Catch the taste of McCain Frozen Punch. In orange, berry, and fruit punch. McCain Punch is made with real fruit juices to deliver real fruit taste, which makes McCain the punch of champions, like Roberto Alomar.
Catch the taste.
Catch the real fruit taste of McCain Punch.
Hi, I'm Debbie Forrester. Watch for the Lottery Winning Numbers show Monday through Saturday nights following the CTV News. I'll be announcing the winning numbers for Pick 3, Lotto 649, and the Plus. See you then, and good luck.
Hello, I'm Keith Morrison. The Toronto Blue Jays and Philadelphia Phillies meet this weekend for baseball's crown jewel, the World Series. Can the Jays bring another one home? Our sports panel will assess the team's chances on Monday on Canada AM.
There are some things parents will never hear.
Mom, would it be okay if I went to bed early tonight?
Things that would be too good to be true.
Would anyone mind if I vacuum the stairs?
Luckily, some things are good and true, like the McDonald's family-sized pepperoni pizza. Smothered in cheese and pepperoni for only $5.99 or 2 for $10. Every day.
No dessert for me, Mom. I don't deserve it.
The family-sized pepperoni pizza. It's a parent's dream come true.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue. Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso. Your local bottler of Coca-Cola. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola.
One goes to the Toronto Blue Jays by a count of 8-5. The Chevrolet player of the game is Roberto Alomar. He was only 1 for 4 at the plate, although his one hit was a big one, a 2-run double in the 7th inning. But Alomar, our selection, in large part because of his defense tonight. He had 2 big defensive plays. And besides, if George Brett says he's the pick, who are we to argue?
Yeah, that's right.
With a surefire Hall of Famer. And Roberto is standing by down on the field with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you, Sean. I am with Roberto Alomar. Roberto, you had 2 sensational plays in the 5th and 6th inning in the field. Was this your best night in the field?
Well, I think so. Postseason and World Series, yeah, this is my best night. I've been having a lot of fun out there. I think so. You have to be able to play good defense to win a lot of games. And today I proved that defense is a real important part of the game.
The team battled back. You were down by 2 runs, 2-0. Was there any concern on the bench?
Well, it's no concern. We have a good offensive team. You know, all we need to do is just get the top man on base, and if they get on base, do the bottom line, let them do the job. And today we get some key hit when we need to, and we play good baseball.
Roberto, thank you. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow night. Sean?
And a tip of the cap to Al Leiter as well, who pitched 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. Now for Tim McCarver, Pat O'Brien, and Jim Gray, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Skydome. The final score of Game 1, Toronto 8 and Philadelphia 5.
Has been a special presentation of CTV Sports.
So feed your dog a consistent diet of one nutritious dog food. Purina Dog Chow every day.
It was one of the most terrifying, noble, deeply dividing moments of our American memory. A battle of brother against brother. It was a struggle for freedoms. It was a fight for how life used to be and would never be again. It is a story that touches us all. Civil War Journal, hosted by Danny Glover. Wednesday on A&E.
It began with all the trappings of a Sunday afternoon sporting event. But when the smoke cleared from Bull Run, it revealed the first casualties of America's bloodiest war. 130 years after it began, the Civil War has lost none of its power to move us. I'm Jim McPherson, and I'd like to send you this compelling history, the Civil War Chronicles, as a free gift for trying American Heritage magazine. American Heritage is history with all the impact of this morning's paper. American Heritage is first-hand history. It's personal history of the underrated Americans who made a difference and of the famous who may have made less of a difference than you think. What should we tell our children about Vietnam? American Heritage had 52 answers. American Heritage is as diverse as the American experience. And right now I invite you to try it without obligation.
Call this toll-free number now and receive 10 issues of American Heritage for 3 monthly installments of $9.97. If you're not completely satisfied with your first issue, simply write cancel on your bill and owe nothing. Or keep American Heritage coming and receive the Civil War Chronicles free.
From Tombstone to Dodge City, the epic saga of the legendary people and places that made the West wild. The true stories of a time long ago. The Real West. All new episodes hosted by Kenny Rogers. Time well spent. Thursday on A&E.
A&E's David L. Wolper Presents is brought to you in part by Office Depot, taking care of business with guaranteed low prices on thousands of brand name office supplies.
I'm David Wolper. With the world becoming politically more complex each day, the United Nations peacekeeping mandate is being tested as never before. Its forerunner, the League of Nations, often looked the other way when there was trouble, and bigger trouble always followed. Our film recalls the tragic consequences of its failure to act when Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935. Mussolini was bent on crushing a defenseless East African nation simply to bolster his army's morale and his own ego. As Hitler watched from the sidelines, Il Duce bombed and gassed King Haile Selassie's people into submission. No country answered the king's call for help. The seeds of World War II had been sown. The second part of our film vividly documents another example of a moral issue tragically resolved. The story of Henri Pétain, France's greatest hero of World War I. In 1940, at the age of 84, he accepted the leadership of the Nazis' puppet government in France. He believed it was a patriotic gesture. Others felt it was treason. But first, Mussolini practices modern warfare on a primitive Ethiopia.
If a single nation is conquered by force, it becomes the concern of all the world. Sure of this principle, Haile Selassie, Emperor of Ethiopia, has come before the League of Nations to plead for help against an aggressor. A gentle king, he has seen his country hurled into a war it did not seek and could not fight. A war begun to enrich a nation and glorify a single man. It is the war Benito Mussolini began, but in time, the entire world would pay dearly for it. This is a story of men in crisis. In the summer of 1935, more than 250,000 soldiers are ordered to Africa by Benito Mussolini, dictator of Italy. Mussolini prepares to crush the kingdom of Ethiopia. So begins a war of conquest, launched with the sole purpose of achieving for Italy the start of a new Roman Empire. Primitive but fiercely independent, Ethiopians rally behind Emperor Haile Selassie. An articulate and educated leader, he knows that his nation cannot win a 20th century war, for his people have just begun to emerge from the dark ages. Too proud to surrender in the coming conflict, he will witness the undoing of all he sought to achieve in 20 years as king and regent of Ethiopia. Haile Selassie, a member of Ethiopia's ruling family, assumes the title of regent in 1916 after a brief and bloody civil war. A visionary, perhaps a dreamer, he longs to modernize a backward land, but it will be years before he can fully unite Ethiopia under his rule. Benito Mussolini, the footloose son of a village blacksmith, abandons a teaching career, and in a longing for adventure and recognition, he turns to politics. A one-time socialist, he helps found a new party called the Fascists. And in 1922, out of the confusion of Italian politics, the Fascists, led by Mussolini, spring to prominence. He inadvertently triggers a revolution. A fiery agitator, his cry for a mass march on Rome is taken up throughout Italy and succeeds in toppling a shaky government. A stunned but delighted Benito Mussolini suddenly finds that he is premier of Italy. April 1930. The imperial palace in Addis Ababa is surrounded by the private guard of Haile Selassie, regent of Ethiopia. After years of court intrigue, the chiefs of Ethiopia's many tribes are united behind Selassie, and he now declares himself emperor. At his coronation, he is crowned Haile Selassie I, elect of God, king of the kings of Ethiopia. The royal family dates itself, according to legend, from the union of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. By virtue of this legend, Emperor Haile Selassie will be called the Lion of Judah. He rules a nation still living by ancient customs, where barter is the way of commerce and poverty is the way of life.